It's Friday, April 9th, and you're watching The Great Loss Rewatch. Today we're talking about Happily Ever After. Desmond is back on the island, and he is not happy about it. He kicks the crap out of Charles Widmore, which I don't think anybody had a problem with. They turn on the machine, everything kind of goes to white a la the time-traveling season 5 special effect, and then the next thing we know, Desmond is at LAX. Here's a funny story. Where I was, there was a thunderstorm. Sure enough, the power goes out right as the screen almost completely fades to white. It goes out for about 2 seconds, comes back on, and then the image I see is Desmond in the LAX airport, and I am like, what the just happened? At LAX, Desmond helps Claire with her baggage, and that's not like a metaphor or anything, like he really helps her with her luggage, and says that he thinks she's gonna have a boy. His driver turns out to be George Mankowski, fresh off his Oscar win. Desmond finally gets to have some 60-year-old McCutcheon's whiskey with Charles Widmore, and Widmore asks Desmond to watch over Charlie because he's gonna be part of this benefit that his wife is throwing. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, in Charles Widmore's office, there are paintings of scales. One of them has a white frame and one of them has a black frame. Desmond goes to pick up Charlie, and Charlie is suicidal. While he was unconscious, how he was enveloped by the love of this beautiful blonde-haired woman, Claire! While Desmond is driving Charlie around, he says that you always have a choice, and Charlie chooses to crash Desmond's car into the ocean. Desmond is trying to get Charlie out of the car, and he's just sitting there and he like has his hand, and I'm like, oh weird, this is kind of a flashback to Not Penny's boat. And literally Desmond has a flash back to the island with Charlie and Not Penny's boat. Charlie says to Desmond, you felt it too, didn't you? That's all that matters now. Desmond then has to go tell Mrs. Widmore that he was unsuccessful in getting Charlie to the benefit, and of course Mrs. Widmore is Eloise Hawking. Then Desmond hears the name of Penny Milton. It catches his attention. By the way, Milton was the last name of John Milton, who wrote the very famous poem Paradise Lost, which has a lot to do with like Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden and the devil. Does this sound like a familiar show? That's when Eloise totally goes off on Desmond saying, no, I want you to stop. Stop right now. We're not ready yet. And it's a violation. Violation of rules that we do not know in a game that we don't understand. Daniel Faraday has a very similar story to Charlie's in that he sees this woman who works at the museum where the benefit is, and she's a redhead, Charlotte! Excuse me. And he immediately feels like a connection and love. In his journal, he was writing very advanced physics, and he thinks that the life that they're leading now is wrong, not the life they were supposed to have, and he thinks that he might have already detonated a bomb. You're close, Daniel. You didn't do it, but you certainly had the idea. Let's take a quick time out to talk about this. Does that mean that the bomb did actually cause this sideways world? Because I don't think it did. Penny is exercising in the stadium that Desmond was in the season 2 premiere. Oh, season 2. Do you remember when we thought season 2 was really complicated? Anyway, they make contact and it causes Desmond to go back to the island. When I say constant, you say hell yeah, constant. He didn't play. Charles Widmore says, I'm really sorry for putting you all through this, but we have a really important mission to complete, and it is. And then Desmond says, no, you have no need to explain. I'm totally on board. What do we do? To which I responded, no, explain the mission! But before Desmond can start this mission, Saeed comes and kills Widmore's people. Then we go back to the sideways world, and Desmond and Penny are gonna meet for coffee. I really hope that Juliet is there going Dutch with somebody. I need the flight manifest from Oceanic 815. I need to show those people something. Words cannot express how much I loved this episode. It's like they took all the best parts of Flashes Before Your Eyes and all the best parts of The Constant and mashed it together to make a super episode. So it appears that our sideways story is the happily ever after for our castaways. Our cast members' lives are at least a little bit better in this sideways story than they were in the island story. It seems like our castaways have looked into the mirror of Erised to see their one deepest desire, and it comes true in this Flash sideways. Everyone who's kind of embraced this idea of a deeper meaning in the sideways world has done so through love. So love is the key. That's awesome. And it also seems like Desmond is going to be the Keanu Reeves here, awakening people from the lie that is the sideways world or the Matrix. Wait a minute. No, Keanu Reeves didn't wake people up from the Matrix, did he? No, that was Morpheus. I think we can all agree that there are two characters that everybody loves. and Desmond is definitely one of them. Back in 2008, they had like a kind of March Madness bracket for lost characters, and the #1 winner in that was Desmond. Second character that everybody loves is Hurley, and in fact, next week's episode is called Everybody Loves Hugo.
We're gonna need to watch that again.
Liz, I have a question for you. If someone were to detonate a hydrogen bomb and create a completely different life that was different from this one, but we needed to come back to this one and be awoken from the separate life, would you be my constant?